Today we are doing a VR to Harshman Hills. He wanted to see the Lee Classic turret press do everything in full operation, even with the priming system on it. And that's coming up next here on Jesse B Outdoors. Welcome back, everybody, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below if you like videos like this. So James asked me to do a full, complete loading on this because he wanted to check it out. I actually had to wait a minute here because I had to find the priming system for it because I usually hand prime, and it took me a minute to figure out where I put my priming system on this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show him basically step by step everything that goes on here. What we're going to do is we're just going to make 50 rounds of 9mm up because I know he does 9mm, so I figured that'd be the best thing to do. And I need to make up like 50 rounds. What I do with these rounds is I kind of use them to sight in red dots and stuff, and I need some more made up, so I figured this was a perfect time to do this video. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is load the primers up in here. You can see this has on, lock, and open. We're going to move this lever down to open. That'll allow us to flip this tray over. So I'm going to put the tray there, and then what we're going to use is these Servicio primers that I picked up from Republic Ammunition. We're only going to do 50 rounds. So what I'm going to do is, this is a fresh pack. We're going to go to 50 there. I'm going to lay my tray on top of this, and then we're going to flip it over, drop our 50 primers in there. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to shake these up. And I want to make sure, yep, okay, I heard some rattle around. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any in there. Now when you do this, like I said, you want this all the way down to open. That way while you're shaking, none of the primers go down the chute here. And we're just going to shake these and flip them all over, just like you would do on any kind of primer tray. Alright, now we got all the primers here. They're flipped over, and like I said, you want to make sure this is down and open so none of them come through that trough there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these primers come back a little bit so they don't get in the way. Make sure none of them flip over, and then we're going to close this up, and we're going to move it to lock. And once that's on lock right there, you should be able to turn this over, and you can see no primers come out. I got my hand down there to catch any just in case any do. Now let's go back up on top, and I'll show you what you got to do to put it on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little tray here. We're going to install this. I usually pinch this together. That way we know this goes in right. And then once it is fully seated down in there, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this and move it real quick. And we're going to go up to on this switch, and that'll let these drop down. So I'll move you back over here. And then what I do is I just flick it. And what that does, we'll move back over here. It's probably going to be hard to see. I'm going to try to zoom in here. You can see how all the primers are in that trough now. And then as you're reloading and moving this, that helps the primers come down that trough there. So now what we're doing is, another thing that's different on here, I'm going to take my shell holder off, is the actual priming part on here. This just slides right out. This is the one for the small pistol primer. You just line that up, drop that right down in there, let it fall out, put your shell holder in, and that's what we use to prime. When you go down, that's what you're going to do. It's going to come up and prime it. So let's go ahead and get loading up some rounds. Alright, so now we're going to start loading. What we're going to do is lift this up here because you can't put a piece of brass in there with the primer sticking up. That's why if you see me even without this primer, I have a habit of leaving this halfway up. That is why. So we're going to put our piece of brass in there, and we're going to size it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come with this, push forward on top, and then I'm going to lower it a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in here real quick. You can see now there is a primer in that cup. So I'm going to back that off here so you can see it, and we're going to go forward and push forward on the handle. Lift up on it a little bit, and now you can see that primer is seated. So now we got the powder on this one. And since I haven't done any reloading today, I'm going to zero out my scale and do a powder check here real quick just to make sure that I'm on what I want here for my powder charge, which usually takes a couple of tries to get it to where I want it. Actually on this one, it's dead on right off the bat to where I want it. So I'm going to put my top back up on the powder. We're going to drop it down. Now we went to the bullet seat and die. That one dropped the powder and flared it. So now we got our bullet on. Go up and seat it. Then we just move to the crimp station because I do it separate. We crimp the bullet. And now there is our first round right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my barrel here. We'll do a plunk test just to make sure. Drop down in there. I can spin it. It's not hitting the rifling. Drops right out. There's our first round made up on this press. Actually, I forgot how easy it was to do it with the primer. So now let's get set back up here and we'll load some more up now that you know all the steps on it. Okay, there's one thing I did fail to mention on here. Since I don't decap, I do that before I clean my brass. You can put a tube here, and this is where the spent primers would come out of. It would go down that tube, and then the tube that comes with this has a cap on it, and it just holds them in the tube. Or you put a garbage can down here, and the primers can go right down into the garbage can if you don't decap your primers before you clean your brass. Just so you know that. Now let's load up some more. Alright, now we're ready to load these up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from a couple of different angles while we're doing this. I'll do, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 this way, and then we'll swap it around to a different angle so you can see it in a different way. So we're going to, once again, go up and size this, and if I had the decapping pin, it would have knocked the primer out. We're going to prime right there, put our primer in, downstroke. We're going to seat that primer. And there you go. You can see the primer's in there now. Now we're going to go up and do our expanding and powder charge. Come down. Go to our bullet seating. So we're going to put our bullet in there. Get a little bit more straighter. Now that one seated our bullet. And now we're crimping our bullet. And that's all there is to doing that. So now we're going to load some more up here. And what should we talk about? Today is Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. So my question to you guys is, are you guys one of the crazy ones that are out shopping? You doing online deals? What you guys doing on that? Right now I posted up a bunch of stuff on my social medias for deals, but of course by the time you guys see this, those deals will be done with. But do you guys like doing your shopping online? Are you one of the crazy ones? Oop, I didn't get a primer on that one. Smack this a little bit. Or are you one of the crazy ones that wakes up at the butt crack of dawn? I got a primer stuck in there. Wake up at the butt crack of dawn and go out. You wait till Cyber Monday and do it all online. Just do everything online. What do you guys like doing? Me personally, I don't like doing none of it. My wife does all of our Christmas shopping. The kids always joke around and they're like, man, you don't even know what we got for Christmas until we open it up on Christmas. I know I'm horrible about that, but usually I do have one say and one present for each kid. So that ain't too bad. I'm not a people person. I don't like being out in huge crowds. So like right now, my wife and both of my kids, they're out shopping. So I was like, what a perfect time to have the house to myself and do this VR video for James to see how this goes. Got the house to myself with the dogs. Dogs are in the living room chilling on the couch. I'm in here with you guys, loading up some rounds. And did you guys realize what I just did? From force of habit, I'm not used to priming. I forgot to prime it, and I saw my powder drop right down, so now I'm going to have to clean up the powder. We don't leave nothing out on this channel here. We're not professional at all, so you guys get to see my mistakes here. Prime, and then flare and powder. But yeah, I'm not one of those. I don't like going out into crowds at all. Not my thing. It's funny though, I used to be really big into NASCAR. And if I went to a NASCAR race, I was fine. But if I went anywhere else, don't like it. Don't like county fairs, at least the big county fairs. We have a couple of them right here. I don't like going to them. But anything else, I just rather keep my butt at home. Now, one thing I did notice is my priming system is not lined up right, so I'm going to come right back. There's a bolt up here to move this. I'm going to try to adjust it to make it go smoother. Alright, sorry about that. I just wanted to make this run smoother here for the video. So we're going to get a piece of brass here, size it, and now this is lined up a little bit better. Yep, it's lined up better for that. Now, I'm going to show you guys another thing here. You see how when you prime, this doesn't pop back? I'm going to show you a trick here, what to do on this. That way, it'll help move this backwards out of your way so it's not that close to it. Be back in just a second. Now, a little trick I'm going to show you guys here. I haven't used a priming system on this in a while. I forgot about it. You see how it has a hook here? I don't know how well you can see it, but there's one on this side too. And one thing you can do to help that is grab a washer and hang a couple of washers off that hook here. And what that does is, you see how it swung out? So that way when you prime, the weight of those washers brings that back. Let me lower my camera here so you can see a little bit. Try to get this out of the way so you can see it. So now what it does is when you prime it and you let go, the weight of those washers brings that back. Let's take the washers back off here. You can see if I went to prime, it just sits there. But if you put these washers on top, I just dropped one right here. Let me grab it real quick. But you can see I just got a couple of washers that I had sitting here. And you can see how it moves back out of the way now. That is a really good tip for you guys if you want to use a priming system out here and it's getting in your way while you're reloading. Now I'm going to move the camera again so we can get back to reloading so he can see these. Alright, we're going to try this camera angle here for a little bit. So we left off with me putting a primer in there. So we're going to seat the primer, go up and flare and drop the powder. Bullet seat, crimp, finished round. So we'll move it back to size, put the primer in, drop it down, flare and drop the powder, seat the bullet, crimp the bullet. Now I want you guys on this round to watch how much nicer that is. When we put that primer in, we'll go up, put the primer in, and that falls right back out of the way because of the weight of those washers on there. That's a little tip for you guys on these. Hopefully that helps you guys out on that. Whoa, let's put the bullet in the right way here. There we go. Alright, there we go. So now let's change it to a different angle so you can see it from a different angle. We got to go down and get it back to the sizing die. Put our brass in. Go up. Put our primer in. Just like that. Flare and powder drop. Seat the bullet. Crimp the bullet. I hope I'm doing a good job explaining this. This press is a really good press. And if you're interested in it, I think he might be interested in it. That's why he wanted me to do these videos. Or he just might want to know because you don't know. But that's why I'm here to help you guys out. But you can see once we get going here, you can get cranking these rounds out pretty quickly. Now the one thing that does happen is if you get this misaligned, the primer won't go in the cup and it'll fall on the floor. So that is one thing you got to watch out for on this. Usually if you get it lined up good like I just did, I'm surprised I didn't do it at the beginning of the video. Because at the beginning I didn't have it lined up real good. But that is one bad thing about this press. And then as we get down towards the end, I'll show you another bad thing about this priming system when we get there. But you can see here, once you get going, it is a pretty good press to crank out some rounds. It is not as fast as a progressive. Get it in the shell holder right here. But you can still do it pretty quickly on here. Like I said though, don't be getting too carried away. Speed is your enemy when reloading. You don't want to mess up because it could cost you. Cost you your gun. Could cost you some fingers. Hopefully it never happens, but it could cost you your life. You know, look at what happened to Kentucky Ballistics at one time. That slap round, he didn't know it, but that thing could have took him out for good. Very blessed man to still be alive after that. So usually when you're reloading, like I always say, you want to have a clear mind, no distractions. I don't recommend even watching videos or anything while you're doing it. Just clear your mind and let it go. That way you guys don't have any squib loads, double charges, overpressure conditions, anything like that. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. I had to move real quick. Trying all these different camera angles, and some of them are not the most comfy for trying to load here. It looks like I'm hitting the tripod here, so we'll move that here real quick. But it's distractions like that that you got to watch out for. So this is a very good angle to see everything going on. We got two more here, and then we'll try a different camera angle just so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. One thing I do notice though on my powder dropper, it looks like I might be wearing it out here. I might have to get a part from Lee for it. Maybe I'll show you guys that in a different video, or when I change camera angle, you might see it and be able to pick up on it. Oop, just like right there, I didn't have it lined up right. So that primer fell on the floor. Actually kind of glad it happened so you guys could see that. So we'll finish up this round here. And I'll pick that primer up off the floor. And we'll change the camera angle. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, what we're going to do now is take that primer I dropped on the floor. And we're just going to place it right there in that primer cup. We'll get it focused in here a little bit better. A lot of people say touching the primers, you can contaminate them. From my experience, I've yet to have a primer not go off by me touching them. I just think that's a myth that people have. But we'll try it from this angle here. I've never had an issue with that at all. If it makes you feel better, don't touch your primers. That's all I can say on that. But like I said, from my experience, I have never had an issue with that, so I'm not too worried about that. But now we will go to a full priming from this angle. So we're sizing, putting the primer in the cup, seating the primer, expand and powder drop, seat the bullet, and crimp the bullet. If you guys have any questions or have any video requests within reason, dang it, I did it again. Leave a comment down below and I'll try to make a video up for you and try to explain stuff the best I can. Like I know James is new to reloading and he's been asking a bunch of questions about this press, so I think he might be interested in it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, as soon as I find time, no problem. That's kind of why I started this channel over my main channel, is because I miss doing reloading videos. And I want to help people out because that's how I learned, was from asking questions and people telling me on my main channel when I did all that stuff, and I kind of miss that. The reloading community here on YouTube is very helpful. We send each other stuff, help each other with whatever we can. Like right now, if I had some lead, I would probably make James up some bullets and send them to him. But I am completely out of lead right now, and I don't have time to cast and powder coat. That's why you guys are seeing all these different videos like these bullets here. These are arms core that I picked up at Republic Ammunition. I just don't have time to cast and powder coat right now. So I went and bought some. That way I don't have to worry about having to do all that. I can just reload my rounds and be ready for videos. That's one thing you guys got to think about when you get into casting and powder coating, is not only, you know, you're being self-sufficient doing it, but you got to have the time to do it too. You know, sometimes it's just easier to go buy bullets to reload than it is to cast them and powder coat them. I do enjoy doing that though. You guys know I pretty much got bullet modes for every one I reload for. Let's go back here. Skipped a step again, getting ahead of myself. Get that primer in there. I do enjoy doing all that. But life is crazy right now, trying to do stuff at the house, do stuff with the kids, do stuff with the wife. Just don't have time to do it right now. Make videos. I love making videos. If you guys can't tell, on my main channel, I try to do 3 videos a week when I can. I'm starting to wind down on stuff for reviews that's been sent to me. So that's where you guys have been seeing me do other things on there. I like having a mix on that channel, because that's one thing a lot of people like about my main channel, is I do a little of this, a little of that. So you never know what you're going to see on there. And that's the way I like that channel. I don't want to be stuck to doing one thing, because then it gets boring. I know some people have been getting on me about getting my Ruger 1022 back out and doing some more group testing with that. Well, there's another primer I got to pick up off the floor. If you do follow my main channel, you know I don't shoot a lot of rifles. I just wanted to see what I could do with that gun and how budget friendly I could build it, or make it, excuse me YouTube, make it, it's a project. You can't say build on YouTube, naughty naughty, shame on me. But I want to see what I could do with it. My main issue is, get that primer set better here, is I've got a foldable bench that I take out there and shoot off of. Well, my issue is the older I get, the more my muscle disease is bugging me, and it's not as easy for me to haul that big old heavy folding bench out there. And then by the time I do all that, I'm wore out. And we all know if you're doing precision shooting, you don't want to be wore out with sore muscles, tired muscles, breathing heavy, because that throws your shots off. So that's why I haven't been doing any kind of shooting like that lately. Now, I might get the, get back up here. I might get the AK out, or the AR out, usually when I do those videos. Get that primer set a little bit better here. I just shoot one magazine because rifle ammo is expensive. Cheap 7.62 by 39 is hard to find anymore. All kinds of excuses on that one. This is going to be, I'm going to check the powder on this one. So we'll size it, prime it. I'm going to flick this to get all those down. I knocked off my washers here. Very unprofessional video here. Doing the primers on here is just throwing me all off because of what I'm used to doing. But we're going to see that primer. Zero out my scale. Check my powder charge. See if we are dead on here. And yes, we are. Beautiful. But that's why you guys really don't see me do much rifle stuff anymore, like precision stuff. I do want to get it out, but we're getting into winter now. I just got to be in a mood and feeling good to want to go out and dig all that stuff out to do precision shooting. I feel bad for the guys who do like watching that stuff, because I do got one guy on here, he's all about that 1022, and he's been getting on me all year about getting it out. And I kept telling him, I'll get it out, and here it's already the end of November, so I kind of feel bad about that, but That's why you guys mainly see me do handguns, because it's less work for me. Alright, what can we talk about next? We've talked about the press. We've talked about all kinds of stuff. Hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. We had lunch, and I had 2 platefuls for lunch. And my brother, sister-in-law, and nieces came later in the day. So, of course, when they came, we had to warm everything back up for dinner. And I had another 2 plates. So, like I said, I'm filming this on Black Friday. And it is lunchtime here. And I am not even hungry still. Because I ate so much here. When they had that little meme thing that said, Wednesday night, don't forget to set your scale back 15 pounds tonight. Yeah, that would have been perfect for me here. But I enjoyed my Thanksgiving. Had a blessed time with family. Wish my brother from Illinois could be here for it. But that's alright. I've seen him more this year than I have any other year. Gotta love it. In case people don't know, I'm not originally from Ohio. I'm from northern Illinois. And my brother and my dad are still back there. So I do got to go back there every once in a while to visit. But my brother sometimes travels for his job. So a couple of times he's had to come to Ohio. Well, luckily where I live, I have a couple of main interstates by me. And highways. One goes north and south, and the other one goes east and west. And so far, 2 of the places he's been, we've been able to drive about an hour and meet up with him and have lunch and stuff. So I thought that's kind of cool. Really don't know if you guys want to hear that or not, because that's personal family stuff. But hey, that's what came up, and that's what we do when we're reloading. So I enjoy seeing my brother whenever I can. Anybody who lives away from their family probably totally understands that. Mostly when it's around the holidays and everything. But let's see here. We have got 7 more of these to load up here. This has been kind of a long video. And I just realized something you guys didn't tell me. I forgot to put a primer in that one. So I'm going to set that one off to the side here and tear that one apart. I might have to just keep using this press with this priming system to get used to it again. But yeah, if you got a family out of town, you guys totally understand what I'm talking about there. But what we are going to do is we got 3 more rounds to crank out here. And then I'm going to have 2 primers to pick up off the ground. Somehow that one flipped. Got to watch that too. Well, now I got 3 primers to pick up off the ground. And we'll get these loading up and get this video here finished out. And I'm going to put these primers back in the priming system and see if they're going to do to me what they normally do, so I can show you guys my way around it. So I'll be right back. Alright, we're back here and we've got 4 more to do here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I run into the issue here of when the primers get low on this press. So far that one was fine. Like I said, I want to show you guys something and then it probably won't do it. That's the way it normally goes. Here's our second one. That primer did just fine on that. I think if I remember right, it was always the last primer where I have the issue on this. So we got our third one. So right now there's 2 primers in here. That one loaded with no issue. Alright, got that. Now this will be our last primer here. Actually, no, there should be 2 primers left in there because of the one we forgot. So this one might work right. Yeah, this one will work right. So we got 1 more left, and that's going to be the bullet I got to tear down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear that down real quick. And then hopefully this last one, I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So this one is definitely a video showing you some of the quirks of this priming system. Be right back. Now I got that piece of brass tore back down here. We're going to do the last one here. Put that up in there. And that time it dropped it in. You can see it right here. If it don't drop in the last one, flick this and knock the washers off again. But if you flick that, that's one issue I had. I think you guys are seeing all the reasons why I don't use this priming system anymore. But if you have a floor that's not carpeted, it's not bad, but mine's carpeted. So I have an issue trying to find all the primers sometimes. But that's why I wanted to show you guys everything on here since James asked. And to me, I just think it's easier to pre-prime my brass and not deal with that with the hand primer than having to stop at the end and pick all the primers up off the floor. So you guys just saw all the quirks here that come with using that priming system right there. But he wanted to see a video of it. I gave you some tips that help you use it. Now, if you got any other tips about like the primers falling on the ground or anything, leave a comment below so everybody knows and help everybody out. So James, I hope this answers some of your questions you had about the Lee Classic Turbo Press. Hopefully anybody else who watches this video, this will help you out too. You can see this priming system here. I just knocked one of the washers off. The best thing to do, I had 2 washers in here. Use one big washer and you won't have that issue of these. Every time you tap it, they fly off like that. Use 1 washer instead of 2. That just happened to be what I had handy right now in this room to use. That's one thing to help you with it. Now, like I said, if you don't get this lined up perfect, you guys saw we had 3 of them drop down on the floor. That right there is one reason that I don't use this system when you guys see me using this press. Because I got a carpeted floor, so sometimes you got to really look. I got a flashlight up on my desk, and what I do is I shine that and look for the shine of the primer. If you got cement floors, it might not be as bad. If you got shag carpet, I know some of you guys probably still got shag carpet. That would be a pain to try to find some primers in. So hopefully this video helped you out. So we're going to end it off there. James, I hope it helped you out. Anybody else who watches this video hopes it helps you out too, or at least entertained you, because I don't leave nothing out on these videos, and I know sometimes they got to make you laugh. So as always, don't forget to check the links out down below. Down there I have links to Axle Hearing Protection, Gators Eyewear, and a bunch of other companies I like dealing with. Some got discount codes to save you guys money. Others are affiliate accounts that do help out the channel. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. We are one nation under God. And I'll see you all on the next one. And this is why we double check everything. Hear that rattling? There's still a primer in there. I took that off and then I realized during the video I missed another one with the primer on here. And that's why we double check everything. Now I'll see you all on the next one.